What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, before we go ahead and get into today's video, thank you, God, for another opportunity. Thank y'all for clicking on today's banger. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now, anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, man, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications. Hit that like button and be sure to drop a comment down below. Where are you tuning in from today, watching? I'm coming from Cali, so go ahead and let me know. But as y'all can see by the looks of the title and the screen today, I'm going to be bringing y'all 3 of the most rare, unique, and best broken builds on NBA 2K22 current gen. So coming up at number 1, the multi-position defender. But with this build, there is going to be a few different twists with it. Now, I'm not going to spoil it right now, but if you do stay along, I promise you, you're going to get a very toxic build when it's all said and done. So we're going to go ahead and make this build out of the power forward position once it comes down to what we're going to be looking like for the pie chart. I'm going to pick the one split right down the middle with the playmaking as well as the defensive. Now, if you want to go ahead and make this build out of the full defensive pie chart, you definitely can do that. But again, it all comes down to your personal preference. Now, for the physical profile, normally I would go with the very first one if I wanted to be the fastest possible, but I'm going to go with the fourth. 72 speed, 78 acceleration, and a 70 acceleration is going to be perfect on this build once you max it out. So, as we do go along with making this build, just be sure that y'all are following along. When it comes down to the finishing, go with a close shot of 84. Driving layup of a 72 and a driving dunk of 75. When it comes down to the standing dunk, I'm going to go with the 39, and that's going to bring us up to a total of 8 finishing badges. Once we go ahead and get into the shooting, I'm going to go with a 67 mid-range shot and a 78 free throw. We're going to be able to get 3 badges out of this build, but I'm telling you, as we do go along with the physicals, you're really going to see what this build is made out to be. Now, for the playmaking, we're going to end it off with 16 total badges, 69 pass accuracy. Don't go anything higher or the build name is going to change. Ball handle, we're going to max that out, and the same exact thing with the post control. But once we go ahead and get into the breakdown of the defensive end, I'm going to go with a 75 interior defense, 68 perimeter defense. Go ahead and max out your lateral quickness. As for the steal, I'm going to go with the 62, 82 for the block, 78 for the offensive rebound. And when it comes down to the defensive, if you want to, you can throw the rest of the attributes into this area or make your own adjustments. But I'm telling you, that is when you start to risk changing the build name. So as you can see, the badge count, we're going to get 8 finishing badges, 3 for the shooting, 16 for the playmaking, and then finally 19 for the defensive end. So when it comes down to it, this is where the build is actually going to get very special. I'm going to go with the body shape of defined, burly, or built, but if you want to change it, you definitely can do so. Now, once we go ahead and get into the height, I'm going to go with 6'7", but if you do decide to go anything higher, I'm telling you, the build name is really going to change, and that is something that you don't want to put yourself at subjection for. You could even go ahead and make this build at 6'8", so you have 2 options between 6'8 and 6'7". For my liking, I'm going to go with 6'8 for today's video, and once it comes down to the weight, I'm going to go with 251. Now, if you do go anything higher, you can go with 252 or anything around the 250s range. Base it off of what you feel comfortable with. And then finally, once we go ahead and get into the wingspan, right here, if you do go with a 90.0 wingspan, we're going to be able to do a lot of special things, drop it down to an 88.0, and still the stats get even better when it comes down to the mid-range shot. Consider adding boosts, and then honestly, look at the takeovers, the rim protecting, slashing, and the glass cleaning. So whichever one you decide to pick, make sure this is all based off of your own playstyle. For my liking, I would really consider the rim protecting or the glass cleaning. I'm going to leave it up to y'all, but as you can see, we were able to create the multi-position defender build, and I'm telling you, you're still going to be able to dribble with this build, shoot. Everything that you want on the offensive end is there, and then even more so importantly, when it comes down to the defensive, we have all the animations and attributes that we need. But let's go ahead and get into the second build that I got lined up for y'all today. So coming up at number 2, I had to go ahead and throw on the pure playmaker build with Hall of Fame defense. Now, if you did make it this far into the video, man, some of y'all have not hit that like button, so I need y'all to go ahead and do just that. Let's get at least 50 likes on this video. I would really appreciate that, and that is really going to help me out. Let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. We're going to make it out of the shooting guard when it comes down to the pie chart. I did say Hall of Fame defense, so I'm going to go split right down the middle with the playmaking as well as the defensive pie chart. Once it comes down to the physicals, this should all be based off of your own preference, but I'm going to go with the fourth one, more vertical. And then honestly, once we do adjust the physicals when it comes down to our height, weight, and wingspan, the speed is going to get a huge boost. Let me go ahead and just tell y'all that now. Now, honestly, if you do grind this build out to 99 overall, the slashing animations that we're going to be able to unlock out of it are definitely going to put this build over the top compared to other Playmaker builds. So as you can see, when it comes down to the finishing, I'm going to go with a close shot of 84. Driving layup going to be the same exact thing, but when it comes down to the driving dunk, I'm going to go with the 78, 32 for the standing dunk, and we're able to maintain 7 finishing badges. Once we go ahead and get into the shooting, going to be able to end it off with 9, max out that mid-range shot, 3-pointer, free throw, and go with a 54 post fade. Now, when it comes down to the playmaking, I'm going to max out my pass accuracy as well as the ball handle. That's going to bring us up to a total of 20 badges in this area of the build. Now what that means is we're going to be able to use the remaining attributes all towards the defensive end. Now feel free to make your own adjustments. Like I always say, base this off of your own play style. When it comes down to the perimeter defense, I'm going to go with the 74. Go ahead and max out your lateral quickness, steal, and then both your offensive and defensive rebound. That's going to leave us at a total of 17 badges here. Let's go ahead and check out the body shape. Now this should all be based off of what you feel comfortable with, but to take up the most space, I would go with burly or built. Now once it comes down to the height on this build, we have to go ahead and drop it to 6'4". Anything lower and anything higher is completely going to change this build. But once we go ahead and get into the weight, I really feel like 177 is going to be the most balanced weight to go with. Then finally, to wrap it up for the wingspan, I'm going to go with an 85.0 wingspan, and right there, that is not only going to help out on the defensive end, but we get a huge boost when it comes down to the finishing as well with an 85.0. On top of all that, we're going to be able to, at 99 overall, plus with the gym rat badge, get a 99 speed, 99 acceleration, and pretty much we're going to have close to a 99 vertical. Now, we do get the playmaking takeover, lockdown, slashing, and the shot creating to break the ankles. I'm going to say the playmaking and the shot creating essentially are the same for this build. For my liking, I would go with the shot creating to get the shooting boost, but if you want to get more contact dunks, y'all already know which one you need to pick. And as y'all can see, we have created the pure Playmaker build with contact dunks as well as Hall of Fame defense. Now we have one final build remaining on this list. Let's go ahead and get into the third and final, and now we're going to be making this build out of the power forward position. So just remember, once we go ahead and get into the making of this build, all you need to do is follow along exactly what I show y'all, and I promise you everything is going to work out in your favor. But with this build, we're going to make it out of the power forward position. Honestly, I can say the power forwards and the small forwards are super broken on both current as well as next gen. A little bit more balanced than the previous years, but I'm telling you, still something special out of these positions. So what you want to go ahead and do here, no surprise as the previous, we're going to go split right down the middle with the playmaking as well as the defensive pie chart. Then once we go ahead and get into the physicals, I'm going to go with either the first or the fourth physical profile, only because of that vertical, and we take a minor hit to the speed, but we get a huge boost towards our vertical. And don't get me wrong, there is actually a very particular reason in why I go about each and every build, making them super specific, because if you change any minor thing, you do risk changing the build name, and that is the last thing that I want happening to y'all. But as you can see, when it comes down to the finishing, we're going to end it off with 8 finishing badges, max out your close shot, driving layup, and a driving dunk, and then finish it off with a standing dunk of 39. When it comes down to the shooting, we're also getting 8 badges here, but we're going to max out the first 3 categories from the mid-range shot, 3-point shot, and the free throw, and then go with the 55 post fade. As for the playmaking, I'm maxing out my ball handle as well as the post control, go with the pass accuracy of 70, and we're going to be brought up to a total of 16 playmaking badges. And then finally, for the defensive end, go ahead and max out the interior defense, perimeter, as well as your lateral quickness. Then from here, I'm going to go with the 73 block, 64 offensive rebound, and a 78 defensive for a total of 13 badges. Now, this is honestly the best setup that you can go about for making this build. Honestly, a contact dunking perimeter defender is what we're making today. I wanted to go ahead and give it to y'all a little bit early, but you're going to see that just in a moment. So when it comes down to the body shape, if you want to take up the most space, go with the body shape of Burley. Now, once it comes down to the height, I feel comfortable with 6'7" because we do get a huge boost to our physicals. And then finally, once we go ahead and get into the weight, this is where we're going to be able to hold our own. So I'm going to go somewhere around the 250s range. Basing it off of my own preference, I'm going to go with 257. And then to wrap it up for the wingspan, if you do go with an 89.0, we're going to be able to add 99 overall. Get that 85 driving dunk, which will give us the contact dunks on this perimeter defender build, and we'll also be able to get the pro dribble moves as a lockdown that can play center. Now, you're going to have at least a 70 strength, 88 speed, 80 plus acceleration, and a 95 vertical. Crazy lockdown build. Let's go ahead and check out what takeovers we're going to be able to pick from, and as y'all can see, the slashing, playmaking, rim protecting, and the shot creating. To be super unique, I would go with the rim protecting or the shot creating takeover, but pretty much that's all basing it off of my own preference. To make this build the best all around, I would really say the rim protecting is going to do just that. But let's go ahead and check out the build name in a moment. So whichever takeover you decide to pick, make sure it's all based off of your own preference. If you want to be more unique, you already know which takeover you need to pick. Now from here, let's go ahead and check out the build name. And as y'all can see, we created the perimeter defender with contact dunks as well as pro dribble moves. Now, if you made it to the end, man, thank y'all for doing that. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. And y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications to join the Rich Gang family. Let's go ahead and get at least 50 likes on this video. Be sure to share it with your family and friends. And with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Thank God and Rich out.